Okay, so my name is Carolina, and I will present my bachelor thesis in large scale. The aim of the project was to explore free-flowing and texture based on tactile and visual properties of shells and pearls in order to design knitted three-dimensional textile surfaces for body and interior context. The project started with my interest in historical symbolism connected to shells and pearls in ancient cultures and their connection to love deities around the world, which I researched through literature and art. This is my mood board where I focused on the aesthetic and visual properties of oysters and how they have been portrayed in art in more recent history. I continued with the visual inspiration on how the subject has been portrayed in photography, art, fashion, and motion pictures. The work focused on an old circle knit machine usually used in the industry to knit towels and jersey fabrics. The machine can do three things: start, stop, and slowly. So it's a very simple machine. This machine has 18 yarn carriers, each using one cone of yarn. The striped pattern is made by using different yarns on the different yarn carriers. I manually switched the cones by pausing and restarting the machine. By doing so, the stripes increased and decreased in width. The fourth piece, which I call pearl, that you will later see, is required 385 switches of yarn cones during a 10-hour knitting time, 10-hour time of knitting. I call this hand knitting on an industrial machine. The mix of materials, which are monofilament, shrinking polyester, and viscoses, results in a dynamic shape of which the textile, which shares with the visual properties of the shell that I was looking for. The key here is that I use one material that shrinks when it's exposed to heat and one that doesn't. All pieces have been washed and tumble dried. So the exploration of yarn ratios continued on two different circle knit machines, and I later replicated the striped structure on a flat knit machine as well to see how the structure differs on the different machines. Here you can see some of the different samples I made through the design process. I found my colors for the pieces of from my visual inspiration, as well as real shells, which have shared my desk during this period of time. This is my final lineup with four main pieces, which are the ones from the left to the middle. The textiles share visual and tactile properties with one part of the oyster each. So this is shell, hard and unyielding. Nacre, which is the smooth inside of the shell, this part here. Flesh, the animal inside the oyster. And pearl, the pearls which grow from the inside of the shell. This collection is presented on bodies, but like the oysters, these textiles should be considered changeable between interior and body. An oyster is both an animal and a home. So thank you for considering my work.